So if you're in the tech or business world, you have definitely heard the buzz around low code and no code. I mean, it's everywhere. But it's also surrounded by a ton of hype, a lot of confusion, and some really wild claims. Is this the future of how we build everything, or is it just another fad that's going to fade away? Okay, let's actually dig in and figure out what's really going on here.
And here's the problem. Right now, the whole conversation seems to be trapped in these two extremes. On one side, you've got the true believers shouting that it's a developer killer, that it's going to make traditional coding obsolete. And on the other side, you've got the skeptics who just dismiss it as a glorified spreadsheet, basically a toy that can't handle real serious work. Honestly, both of these views are just plain wrong, and they completely miss the bigger picture.
Because look, before we can even debate where it fits, we have to accept a fundamental reality. This low-code, no-code movement, it isn't just hype. It is an absolutely irreversible shift in the market. And the numbers, well, they are staggering. Get this, the global low-code market is projected to just explode, hitting an estimated $187 billion by 2030. We're not talking about some small niche segment anymore. This is on a fast track to becoming a dominant force in how all enterprise software gets built. And this isn't some far-off future thing. The impact is happening right now. Gartner is forecasting that by 2026, that's just around the corner, a massive 75% of all new enterprise apps will be built using low code or no code. To put that in perspective, that's up from less than 25% back in 2020. That is a monumental shift in how companies get software made. And who's driving all this? Well, it's a whole new kind of builder they're calling the citizen developer. These aren't your hardcore IT pros. These are people in marketing, in finance, and HR who are now empowered to build their own solutions. And projections show that in big companies, the number of these citizen developers is on pace to outnumber professional developers 4-to-1. So why is this happening now? Well, it's a direct response to a painful problem that, let's be honest, every IT leader loses sleep over. The business's demand for new apps, new tools, new digital workflows, it's growing at least 5 times faster than IT departments can possibly deliver. The backlog is just immense. LCNC didn't just appear out of nowhere. It rose up as the only practical way to deal with this massive imbalance. Okay, so we've seen the scale. It's huge. Now let's talk about where LCNC isn't just a good enough option, but where it's actually the smarter choice for getting things done and delivering real value fast. The number one reason people are flocking to this is speed. Radical speed. We're talking about a potential 90% reduction in development time. No, that is not a typo. This is about agility. It's about letting a company react to what it needs right now at a pace that was just unthinkable with traditional coding. And where's all that speed being used? Well, look at the top use cases. We're talking about things like building data collection forms, automating internal workflows, and finally, replacing those clunky, out-of-control spreadsheets. Notice the theme here? This isn't about building the next Uber. It's about building the essential internal plumbing that makes a modern company actually run without friction. And that brings us to a really crucial idea. The sweet spot for LCNC is something called operational digitization. It's a fancy term for a simple concept, using technology to make your existing internal operations work better, faster, and cheaper. Think of it as a tool for operational excellence, not necessarily a tool for creating some brand new disruptive product. Okay, but let's be real. To build a smart strategy, you can't just look at the good stuff. You have to be brutally honest about a tool's limitations. And understanding where low code hits a hard ceiling is every bit as important as knowing its strengths. So what are the things that keep leaders up at night when they think about this? Well, it's this list right here. Can it really scale to handle millions of transactions? Is it secure enough for industries with heavy compliance rules? What happens when you need to integrate it with some ancient, complex legacy system? And what about the big ones? Giving up fine-grained control and the risk of getting locked into one vendor's ecosystem forever. These are serious, valid concerns. It really all boils down to one fundamental trade-off. You need to burn this into your brain. Every single LCNC platform, by its very design, sacrifices deep, granular control and customization. And what does it give you in return? Incredible speed and accessibility for non-coders. That's the deal. Recognizing that trade-off is the absolute key to using these tools wisely. So this is where it all comes together. The answer isn't low code or custom code. That's the flawed thinking we started with. The smartest, most dominant companies are realizing the answer is both. It's about creating a sophisticated hybrid strategy. Which, of course, leads us to the million-dollar question for any leader, right? How in the world do you decide which tool to use for which job? When do you go low-code? And when do you bring in the heavy hitters for custom development? This right here, this is basically the blueprint. On one side, you've got low-code. It's perfect for internal tools and workflows. The goal is making the business more efficient, and your key players are those citizen developers. On the other side, you've got custom development. This is for your mission-critical, customer-facing products, the stuff that makes you different from your competitors. Here, the goal is strategic advantage, and it requires your absolute A-team of elite engineers. And this is where the magic happens. When you get this right, you create this incredible, virtuous cycle. The business side can suddenly solve hundreds of its own small to medium problems with low code that just vaporizes the IT backlog. And that, in turn, frees up your most talented, most expensive engineers to stop fixing spreadsheet imports and start focusing 100% of their brainpower on the big, strategic projects that actually move the needle for the company. So let's wrap this up with the single most important takeaway. You have to stop thinking about low code as a threat to your developers. It's not. It is their single greatest strategic enabler. So what can you do tomorrow? Here are 3 concrete steps. 1. Go audit your entire project backlog. For every single item, ask, is this for internal efficiency or is it for strategic differentiation? 2. Establish a clear governance model. You can't just let this run wild. You need rules of the road. And 3. Officially, publicly redefine the mission of your A-team. Their job is no longer to fix everything. Their job is to build the future. So I'll leave you with this one question to take back to your team, a question you have to be really honest about. Are your best and brightest people, your most valuable talent, building the future of your company? Or are they just spending their days clearing an endless backlog of internal support tickets? The answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know.